Gundam.tk presents Double O Riser. Hey, what's up everybody? Robert184, 2 R's, 2 B's from Gundam.tk, and I'm here to finally put together the perfect grade Double O Gundam and see it all together. I had a lot of earlier parts to the review, including the parts, but now let's see if this is worth the money that was spent on it. Nothing complicated about putting this together, it's just a matter of getting these poly caps, which are quite large, onto these parts, and everything is going to provide quite a snug fit. For the upper body, you'll just put the shoulder on before putting on the arm, and with the waist and head attached on, you're going to have, there it is, the perfect grade Double O Gundam. Although I have to say that the first thing is it looks pretty naked without the twin drives attached onto the shoulders. For those of you that are familiar with the Strike Gundam, either 1/60th or the perfect grade, you really get the idea that this is tall, all legs, and quite skinny. Of course, that's going to get better in a lot as soon as we put on the shoulders. But otherwise, I think the effect is pretty good. I wasn't crazy about some of the colors. The yellow seemed a little bit light, but it seems to match the overall aesthetic here. And the same thing that I sort of complained in my very opening reviews, that I was hoping that they would have a gray inner frame instead of a black type inner frame, but actually I have no complaints about it once you see it all together. The green clear parts though do not stand out as much as I had hoped. But really, let's do this right. And by the way, do you remember the first appearance of the Double O Gundam in the anime when they were playing the awesome music as it heads out to fight the Aloes? Still one of the best moments I think I've ever seen while watching Gundam. Now that is the way that it should look. As expected, with the backpack on and the twin drives there installed on the shoulders, the proportions do look a lot better, and he doesn't come across as looking as skinny as he did before. There's still a few things that I'm not crazy about this though. If you take a look at the hips, the hips are in the lower position, and you can see space in between there. But then again, that's fixable by putting everything up. But you'll notice that he's really waving back and forth. And when you get a Gundam, I guess, that's about 30 centimeters tall, you're going to start running into those kind of issues, not just posability issues. Here is a spin around showing off some of the detail in the upper half of the body. But speaking of posability, what are we able to do? Well, first of all, because the front skirts are almost not there at all, no problem bringing the legs forward. As for off to the side, if you flip these skirts out of the way, you're able to bring the legs up for the full splits. You'd have no problems with that. And the legs are going to move here and here, as you saw in the previous parts review. The ankles don't move as much as I expected of them, but they are able to bend up here and as well down there. So you're going to get them to swing that far back and forth. And you already saw that this part can split apart, and that the feet can split and come all the way forward. Again, everything is still quite together, but you could have him practically laying down and supported by his toes. Of course, the waist and torso section, you're able to spin him all the way around if you so chose. And the only thing that you have to be aware of is just because there's a lot of different moving parts in here, when you move him, it's a little bit difficult to get everything lined up just right. But once you do, it's going to stay in place, outside of the fact that it feels like a slight breeze could blow this guy over sometimes. Of course, that doesn't seem to be as much of a problem because of these fantastic rubber grips that they have on the bottom of its shoes, which tend to keep him in place fairly well. The GN drives are able to, with a little bit of clicking sometimes, slide forward and produce the shield. Anyway, they go off to the side, and if you want to put them into position, they are able to go to the back, but you're going to have to bend them out, and of course, I fired up the engine there. Due to the complexity of the arm movement, this isn't something that you can just easily put into position, so you're going to have to think about it a little bit before you do. So what you can do is move the shoulder out of the way, and when you do that, you can lift up this shoulder armor all the way. Now, of course, that thing is going to pop out on me, and you're able to press in on the button here and raise the shoulder, and you'll hear that click mechanism. And it is able to go up, but of course, we're going to get the GN drives in the way a little bit. Remember, you can press on this green part to bend the elbow, and by pressing on the back of the wrist, you're able to move it forward like this. So you do have mobility, but it's not the kind of free mobility that you're used to with other kits. You're going to have to think about it, push the button and get everything into place, and of course the GN drives are going to interfere with quite a few of these poses, it seems. And the head mobility works well because it's got this pivoting part that goes back and forth on the neck, so you're able to bring the head that far down, that far back, and you can have it, you just saw that the cheek just sort of snapped out of place there, but otherwise, no problem moving the head around. For height comparison, the 00 Gundam is regular for a Gundam, which is about 18-19 meters. We've got 18.9, I believe, in this case. So let me stack him up against the 1/60th Exia. So here we have the first and second lead Gundams from the anime 00, and you really sort of get a completely different sense from the two of them. But in terms of height, the heads, minus the yellow antennas on the 00, are just about identical there. However, where you really do see the difference in quality, though, is when you zoom in, because I was a big fan of the 1/60th Exia, with just how good the quality was considering its relatively low price. But the perfect grade 00 Gundam, you can just see so much of the inner frame in its design, and how complex it is, whereas on the other hand, the Exia just looks big, blocky, and hollow. Then again, this is about a fifth the price. And this I thought would be a pretty cool shot. On the right we have the high grade 00, in the middle the non-grade 1/100th, and on the left the 1/60th. And you really get an idea between the size difference in the three kits. It's not dissimilar to Exia when you just take a look at these two kits and just see how plain the 1/100th is. You'll notice that it's got mostly white in the knees. Everything here is just pretty much solid blocks. The shoulders are also just two blue pieces slapped together. Whereas over here, you're just going to have that much more inner frame visible, and little details like the gray parts down there, the gray parts above the ankle joints, and the overall black effect from the insides of the parts. So whereas you have hollow parts inside the GN drives on the shoulders there, here you're going to have a complete inner frame covering up everything. As you see Exia and 00 spinning around here together, despite the fact that I think the lining looks pretty good on the Exia and they gave you just the right amount of channels to not have it be overlined, it really does come across as looking more like a toy, whereas the perfect grade 00 on the other hand really does come across as looking like a complicated model, which really is to be expected. Now that you've seen the 00 Gundam put together, stay tuned for the next part where we'll see what kind of poses this thing can pull off. Anyway, everybody, this is Robert184. Don't forget you can see reviews of all of these kits and lots more at gundam.tk, and as always, let me know what you think down below with a comment. Thanks for watching, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit like if you do. Don't if you don't. Like, hit don't like if you don't, I mean. Anyway, thanks for watching. See ya.